Heroes Global Championship. We are here in the EU region. We're watching as Fnatic takes on Dignitas as they step closer and closer to going to the Western Clash.
Yes, and with a 2-0 off the back of hammers. Hammer, 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 all the time. That's brilliant stuff to see, I've got to say. Now we've got to see Dignitas channel their inner vagabond, their inner Hellion about themselves and kind of bring the fight back to Fnatic. But it is going to be different considering what we just saw with Fnatic bring out some wild picks and having success. They can still play standard.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, Hammer seems to make a great amount of sense against Dignitas. Dignitas, in many matches, they do a really good job of holding on to matches until the late game, set themselves up for a hard engage. But if you set up Hammer, you're already building protection to stop that from happening, and you have also the push potential to go for a win. So Hammer just seems to be like a really good Dignitas counter as well. But let's find out what battleground we are going to. And game number 3 here, as this is a best of 5 series. Our bans already were Battlefield of Eternity, as well as Warhead Junction. We have already played on Sky Temple. We just finished up already on Cursed Hollow, and our third game of the day will be... Ooh la la. Praxis Holdout.
This is going to force some weird bans, I think. We've seen them already have success with Chromate on this map.
Yeah.
I think Hammer's not bad on this map either.
Good.
So...
Another thing, too, is suddenly Morales goes up in power, too, as a healer here.
That's true.
As Morales at a 4-man rotation is incredibly powerful, especially when coupled with a hammer that we're seeing very often here from Fnatic. So you have all these weird picks that, with it being a 2-lane map, just rise on the tier list. Rexar, we haven't seen it yet. We might see it later when we see Synergy.
Could we see Zul'jin?
Could see Zul'jin as well. As that bottom lane, you ban out the Vala, and suddenly you have that second auto attacker available to you. There's a lot of stuff that you have to think about when you go to Praxis Holdout, because it's just a wonky map.
Yeah, I am a little bit concerned on the side of Team Dignitas now, because what Fnatic have shown in the past 2 games has shown a zero fear to being diverse in what they want to bring compared to the standard. So Team Dignitas has to think very carefully about their bans here, or even try and pick some of those weirder things away from them. So things like Sylvanas can still have massive impact on this map. As well as some other kind of pocket strategies as we were mentioning before.
That's a good point. Fnatic is by far in HGC Europe the team with the most variety. The only hero they have picked more than I guess 5 times, 6 times would be Malfurion, and that just makes sense. Malfurion's one of the standard picks in Europe and probably one of the best supports you can pick based on how the meta is played here. Falstad banned out. Tassadar banned out. Dignitas will take first pick here. It's going to be Sylvanas.
There you go. Ah, dear.
It begins, Galeris.
Yeah, so this could be a really wonky draft, because overall, them taking Sylvanas at the very beginning, first pick goes against all conventions that we've seen on other maps from these 2 teams. So whereas it's been healers and globals and warriors, Sylvanas presents an entirely different challenge.
And with Sylvanas being the first pick, suddenly Fnatic has this thought of, do we go for Gul'dan earlier now? Because you need wave clear to match wave clear. And you're going to be going through the ban phase soon, because Dignitas will get their 2nd and 3rd slot, and you could lose out on that Gul'dan.
The one issue is that Fnatic hasn't really played too much of it, I feel. If it was going to be someone, I guess it would be Schwimpy to play it, but he's far more adept at other heroes. So it's going to be Tychus to start. Malfurion? There we go.
Cool, so Tychus, Malfurion. Standard foundation here for Fnatic. Dignitas selects Ragnaros, and that was my next point I was going to bring up. Oh! Well, we see your hammer. It's now hammer time for us.
Now, just to note, playing Dux against Team Dignitas actually banned out Hammer. It was the only Hammer ban we've had in HGC Europe throughout that, and that was against Dignitas on this map. So they must be well-versed here, because playing Dux just banned it straight out against them in the 2nd rotation, so they must
I think you banned Morales, and actually Morales is being highlighted here, because suddenly this has become a scary push. One, you have a top lane god with Ragnaros. You have your Molten Core for powerful moments. You have already strong wave clear and straight. Amazing push here. You have Sylvanas with her trait. You have Sergeant Hammer already with your auto attacks and the damage range. You just get Morale sit back there and just sit pretty and heal beam all day.
Oh yeah, like a Hammer here just set up and good to go with a Morales behind it. There's not many opportunities for you to really flank it. Like, that's just the design of the map. That's just how it is. And Chromie gonna get banned out. So I was like, this is exactly what I expected coming into this. Because they can't just ban Hammer and Chromie away from Fnatic, so they had to pick up one, they had to ban the other. I think this is very smart drafting by Dignitas. It's whether or not they can pull it off in the game.
That's what we call a twofer. You get the ban on Chromie because she's a good counter against Sergeant Hammer, and you take it away from Fnatic, who has had incredible success here so far in HGC. Fnatic now has their Tychus, they have their Malfurion. Now you're looking at options. You want hard engage or you just want to live? And I think you need to start going for hard engage.
The interesting thing is do they go standard or do they have more pocket picks beyond what they've shown in this series so far? What do you think?
That is the question. Knowing it's Fnatic and how versatile they are, I expect weirdness to come out, but I do think there is some standard that could be strong here. Sonya as one of the heroes that we could see later on. There's our ETC and our Jaina, so we have our strong engage with our power slides. We have Jaina. We've seen a top laner, and I think it's going to be Sonya.
They could do that, or it could easily be Zeratul. And then you've got a standard draft, but a very powerful draft. Because right now, I think we're still just looking for Wooby's pickup on that side, unless for some reason he ends up playing a Tychus, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think that it will be Quacknix on that. Or it could be the other way around, regardless. So Dignitas here, they only need their healer and warrior. So I think a Tyrael solo is probably where they may go, or Varian, but it doesn't quite have as much. I guess Varian in Sulfura Smash is very good as well. What do you think?
Yeah, Varian could be their engager. I wouldn't mind Johanna, actually, just go full wave clear and full control. And I'm thinking about the healer. I think Rhaegar is the easy option, but when you see Ring of Frost, I don't mind an Ariel. Get that Aegis off, save your teammates from there. There's Tyrael, and there's Uther. Uther.
That's... Oh, okay.
Well, look at what Fnatic has. They're banking on getting a solid engage on Dignitas, hit a Ring of Frost, and get the team fight to go in favor. Uther brings that Divine Shield, at least saves one of the most important teammates and allows you to go back into the engage. So they're just going for a counter engage. And then Zeratul is a pick that you mentioned here. That enables this Ring of Frost. If Uther gets hit on the side here and make sure that his teammates don't get picked off, they could be good to go.
We've seen like 3 games now of Uther in HGC Europe.
One in Korea this morning too.
Oh, was there? I didn't
quite
catch that.
Uther in Korea too. It was against a variant comp, actually. It was, well, if you have a point and click stun, here, I'll point and click back.
I remember you mentioning it, actually, when we were sat at the desk over there,
yeah.
This is interesting. This is the first healer that Bakery has played beyond the normal 3 of Rhaegar, Brightwing, and Malfurion. He may have had one game as medic, but I can't quite recall. I don't think he did. But anyway, so, yeah, we haven't seen Bakery on Uther for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
A very long time.
And it has been a while. And it all shakes out well here. You have your wave clear, you have your strong top lane, you have your ability to control the map, control beacons, and all you need to do is not die to a Ring of Frost combo that comes your way. Fnatic's going to have a harder time dealing with that with the Divine Shield being available here for Uther. So if that Divine Shield comes off on a Sergeant Hammer, and Sergeant Hammer's still full health in a fight, I don't see a world where Fnatic can break this down. Now, on the other side too, it's Wombo combo, right? It's a standard. It's been great for a long time. If you get your Void Prison and you hit your 3-man Ring of Frost combos, you win fights, flat out. So it's going to be coming down to Fnatic hitting those combos and Dignitas just surviving through it.
Yeah, it's a combination that comes out in every region just every so often. This kind of combination will never lose power so long as it is in this current form. Like, you will almost always be in the meta because the amount of power that is behind it. Absolutely.
All right, let's get ready for game number 3 here. Dignitas taking on Fnatic. Dignitas trying to hold on. Fnatic hoping to go to Katowice. Here we go, man. Braxis holdout here. To the far left, Kalaris, please do the honors.
What a wild one. Spexy's going to be on Malfurion. We have Breeze on ETC. Next up is Quacknix on the Tychus, as suspected. And then we will have Shwimpy on the Jaina. Finally, to round it out, it's Wooby on Zeratul. He's a menace on this hero. He's already won 1 game with it in the past.
To the far right, Dignitas Bakery here on Uther, JPL on Tyrael. Snitch will be the one on Hammer, so looking forward to that. Mayne here on the Sylvanas. And last but not least, as always, Zelia here on Ragnaros, gonna destroy that top lane, hold it down for his team.
I think between the 2 teams, Snitch and Shwimpy are the 2 flex players that have been on most heroes. So far, I think Shwimpy has played, apart from the series against Misfits, he played a different hero every game in that isolated series that he's played in this so far. But look at this, just kind of countering the attempt from a Sylvanas.
I like it, yeah. With the 4-man rotation on the top, Zillion will be able to hold for a small amount of time here, but it's still one member against the push of 4. Wubby in the bottom here, just to still that experience, expecting to lose a fort, and this game has started off incredibly wonky here.
I think that technically Xaylia is in a better position here, because if he wants, he could try a Molten Core. That's what Fnatic's doing right now. You can see them positioning in such a way that if Xaylia tried to Molten Core in this current trade that we're seeing, they could try and get onto him.
It's really a very smart play there. Goes up for the power play. The grenade is still available, but trying to get one of those CCs available to walk away from the engage available from Fnatic, and that way he could go for the Molten Core. The push continues down here in the bottom left. Snitch and Mayday. They just go for keep, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, are we just going to have the quickest game of all time? Because right now, they're now realizing that they can't do much about that. And as you can see, Dignitas is going to back off because there have been a little bit of invisibility about this positioning. But they were looking to go for Xaylia. Xaylia still played quite smart, but maybe not smart enough. Those roots are coming down, and he will go down. That's first blood. Oh, and whoa. Okay, was it first blood, though?
There got picked. He jumped in to try and slow them down.
Yeah.
Wow. Solid play there from Fnatic. They faked the rotation by leaving Tychus top. They took 3 of the members, got them off the map there. Zillion not even playing aggressively, still passively, gets picked on a slight rotation, and he was just barely out of position here. 4-3 for our team. Uther, 0-3 at HGC Europe, but Dignitas hoping to change that.
Well, I'm glad I was correct with my 3 games of Uther that we've had during all of this, but it is interesting to see how that shaped up in the early game. A lot of stuff went into that. Again, the counter of the Sylvanas push, the attempted fake rotation, and then unfortunately, if Zeratul hadn't died, I think Fnatic was still in an alright spot, but yeah. Blow for blow.
Zillion going to be the main attention here in the top for Wubby. In fact, his grenade comes out, which means the Molten Core can be used. He hops into it. Quacknix is on the back left. Big Molten swing here. Can he get Quacknix down to at least a quarter health here? Wubby will be floating on the side. Bakery, though, coming in for the stun there. Can he get it? He hits it, and there's the poke. Zillion should be able to get the takedown, and nice rotation from the team.
The power of Molten Core, my friend. The power of Molten Core. All right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so that's going to be both beacons there for a second. Literally just 6% going off towards Fnatic at the moment. Fnatic just going to put some pressure on towards the bottom. Difficult, though, with where Snitch is actually set up to get ETC in a spot where he can put on pressure. So slow and steady.
Slow and steady will win the race here for Dignitas, as it is currently 6% to 0% in beacon control. There will be constant weird rotations for our teams, and it's kind of on the burden of Fnatic to have these rotations, because Dignitas is comfortable with sitting pretty, sitting in their lane. Mexi in trouble, though, on the back right. Tyrael will be able to get away from that fight as he was focused down. So Mexi does retreat because of the aid of his team here, but Snitch is going for the kite here, getting damage in the focused attack, and that will be a Jaina. No longer meant for this world.
They somehow find these good kills early on to Dignitas at the moment, and even with a hammer just pursuing there, doing very well. So level 7 approaching for Team Dignitas, as Fnatic still holding at least 1 shrine right now. It's 1 beacon.
Zillion here gets a poke on Wubby. Bakery and Zillion will work to grab this beacon. Breeze can slow it down for now. So Hammer is by herself from the bottom.
That's a big rotation for that top beacon. So this one at the bottom will be seized away quite quickly. So only 6% against 26% right now. And, well, because there's no Dahaka, because there's no Falstad, I wouldn't even mind seeing stage dive, but that's going to be a big invade here by Fnatic on towards his easy camp. They're looking to put down JPL as he has to go into the roots. He's going to fall, but it's going to come at the price of probably Breeze there in the backline, as well as we also see Malfurion go down. The rest of the damage retreats out for Fnatic, but they did steal that camp. Yeah,
there's a good knockback there too from Snitch to get the Archangel's Wrath to at least connect with one of the members. 2-for-1 trade-off. In the favor of Dignitas, 7-6 for our teams. And right now, the beacons should be the major priority. However, with Wubby on that Zeratul constantly floating on the map, it's been very hard for Dignitas to get the proper rotation to grab any of those beacon percentages. Xaylia in trouble again once in the top right.
It just feels like, especially before level 10, Jaina, Zeratul, Tychus has more punch and more impact behind it in these fights compared to something like a Sylvanas, right?
Yeah.
Is just kind of meh, wishy-washy.
They're a better roaming team for getting the engagement.
Yeah.
That is definitely the answer here for Fnatic. Get that power slide, get the Jaina to fall with the Blizzard. Aggressive play from Dignitas, though. And that's where they can play well. They set up. incredibly well on Mercenary camps, and they will take those Hellbats for now to continue the pressure. At some point, I would love to see a 4-man rotation to the top and have Ragnaros head to the bottom here, as Sylvanas and Sergeant Hammer are great at pushing.
And you see the fact that these two teams can actually invade their opponent's easy camp quite quickly and efficiently is because of all of the rotations that happened at the very beginning of the game. Because there is no fort to actually sustain that position for like a Fnatic or a Dignitas to actually fall back to. So that's why we're seeing the bottom camps being red and the top camps being blue.
Fnatic finally applying their own pressure here in the bottom. Mercenary camps grab for Dignitas though, as they would like to open up that bottom lane and at least force Fnatic to respawn somewhere so they can get their rotation or get their engages they want. Mayne and crew will continue to push with these front camps, and finally JPL starts to take this beacon away. At the same time, Ragnaros is wrestling with Wubby in the top, and Ragnaros should be able to take that relatively well, especially with it being a one-on-one.
I love how slow Seeker Missile is in this game from the Ravens that you capture in those camps, because it's just like, you could just run away from it, or you could just let it hit you after a while, because you can just run for days. Especially if it's something like a Falstad, you can just keep running around for a long time.
When I first played this map, PTSD kicked in, where I've had like mutas, like 20 of them die to a Seeker Missile. The first time I heard it, I was like, holy moly, and I started trying to like micro my teammates to all split up.
Separate, separate!
Separate now! JPL with the engage. Big Smite there. Smexy low on health already. 9-8 in terms of levels. Dignitas playing it nicely safe and slow here, as they would love to get to 10 before their opponents can make the power play. Fnatic, while having this strong roaming composition, has done a very good job here of eking out 44% of the beacon phase, just in terms of just pure rotations.
Yeah, they've done well with it. And so now, let's see, as Dignitas is just applying pressure towards the bottom, they would love Fnatic to turn around and fight them here, because they do have that fort available for Molten Core. So just trying to find some value with these two Hellbats that they've captured from the Mercenaries.
Yeah, they're preying on Fnatic right now, because Fnatic again starts to play a little bit more defensively, knowing that Dignitas is close to 10. If they lose anyone in a fight, Dignitas could get even more closer towards that level 10.
Every grenade from Tychus is super important to save for when Snitch tries to siege up next to those towers, because they have to push him away, so then it buys time for them to, you know, save a little bit of health on their towers. That was a good rotation, once again, by Wubby on the Zeratul. And he's a menace on this map. He's constantly been darting back and forth, taking beacons here and there when Dignitas is grouped up and pushed somewhere.
Yeah, that is definitely a good word for what Wubby will be doing here, just being a constant menace.
Yeah.
Constantly being aggressive, literally an insect here for Fnatic that can keep moving between the bottom and the top. Hopefully, eventually, Ragnaros can't squash that bug. Zeratul at the very top is also grabbing some beacon phase here. Finally, Dignitas, their slight advantage did garnish, what is that, 22% on the beacon phase here, but 58-28, yet to have a full beacon phase complete.
This is how the beacons are at this level. Just very, very slow, trying to just jostle for position. And Zeratul's going to clean up at the top, and Breeze here, still waiting on his heroic choice. Again, I wouldn't mind stage dive, but if he could get locked down on a good couple of members, then Mosh Pit is good. But the problem is that there's not only Cleanse, there's Sanctification as well as Divine Shield. So there's lots of tools for Team Dignitas to bring someone out of Mosh Pit if it's to come along.
And the Wailing Arrow, in fact, there it goes down. Hitting Tychus will connect with him. Snitch goes for the chase. However, the disengage from Fnatic is quite solid. Zeratul has mounted up and started to head down for his own engage. Remember that Void Prison being the main way to start the engages for Dignitas.
I think one reason, Dignitas quite deep in here is JPL. It's probably going to end up dropping Sanctification. That was a Twilight Dream, silenced a few of them. Dignitas is going to back off here for a moment. But once again, Wubby somehow got another Shrine. He's in the backlines here, doing damage towards Snitch. Breeze is going to move forwards. He has to get back though now. The rest of his team have left him there for the moment. But
I'm incredibly impressed by Fnatic and their movement, especially Wubby in particular, how they've just taken so much, so little, little by little here to get towards that 100% beacon phase.
He is the true Snicky Snake of this game.
That he is.
He's just all over. He's all over. Nobody knows where he is. But one thing that I do want to mention is that Ragnaros not only gains so much potency because he has good wave clear on this map, but also the map is so small that forts, a lot of the fights, unless they're in the middle of the map, a lot of the fights are going to be near forts or keeps. So Molten Core becomes extremely powerful on this map, and Fnatic has to be so careful in a lot of positions, a higher percentage of the map than on other maps.
That's a good point. just because Dignitas needs to consider it. If they are moving into a spot where they think they can't win the fight, they have incredible defense. With the Sylvanas, with the Sergeant Hammer, and the Ragnarok that you mentioned. So that will always be in the back of their mind. They don't ever have to force a fight, because they can handle a Zerg wave coming their way. Fnatic starts to grab the pressure on the bottom right. Wubby continues attempting to steal some of that beacon. However, with all 5 millions in top lane, Dignitas will be here to defend said lane. I wouldn't mind them setting up camp here, and I wish they would have done it earlier with their Sergeant Hammer and the Sylvanas. Set up camp. Don't give away the beacon phase. Fort being grabbed in the bottom right for Fnatic. The rotations continue to be on point. Dignitas finally making some plays here with his composition.
Are we pulling the later level Iacona? Are we pulling we're almost at 13 and we still, oh, there we go, that's stage dive, never mind. Okay, so perfect timing. He's actually using stage dive, going in towards the back, towards that beacon, and picking that up in, again, a sneaky snake way, and 100% they get the first beacon only 11 minutes into the game.
Totally worth, and now Dignitas needs to make sure they panic and get away from this fight ASAP, because they do not want to get Void Prison. They automatically head straight to their keep and will set up for defense. There are mercs pushing the bottom left for Dignitas, and they'll have a small Zerg rush of their own, but that should be dealt with by the keep there. Here we go. Big push here from Fnatic as they move forward.
All right, so here comes Commandeer Odin as well, in Zerg attire, in Zerg garb. It's going to try and push down this wall. Molten Core trying to clean up a lot of that at the front, and actually those Ultralists have died off very, very fast considering the power of the Hammer as well as Molten Core. That was a brilliant defense just off the back of sheer numbers that Hammer and the Molten Core are able to push out.
Just to put that in perspective, one Zerg wave got one turret on the keep wall. That's it. That's how good the defense is here for Dignitas with their Molten Core, Sergeant Hammer, Sylvanas. JPL and crew will set up here on the left side. They have a really good concave here. Breeze needs to be slightly careful. He just walks up the mercenary camp. Careful? No, thank you. We don't know where Zeratul is, so Dignitas pulls away.
Yeah, that was actually mental. How quickly that Zerg wave disappeared. I don't think I've ever seen a full Zerg wave disappear quite like that. Yeah, sure, Gul'dan has some, de-pushing power, but that was ripped apart.
I need to show you a little guy named Kel'Thas and his convection stacks with Fury of the Sunwell. Goodbye, Zerg wave. But still, yes, those waves can be cleared up if you do properly draft for it. Breeze goes to the power site in the bush. JPL's north side here is getting focused down. Signification has been popped. Bakery looking for a stun here, but Luther is a little bit on the slow side when it comes to walking. Is forced to retreat.
Yeah, poor little fella. So now let's see, as Dignitas just going to clean up towards the top. Both teams have lost both of their forts. Of course, we have Dignitas actually leading in structural damage because down towards the bottom they had so many nice rotations themselves to continually put on pressure towards that keep. Their wave is not down there next, correct? So it would be on the top lane, as those things do rotate.
It's kind of funny to mention that Dignitas is actually ahead in terms of slight keep pressure because they got some damage earlier on that bottom left keep. Whereas Fnatic did take the entire map objective and yet it didn't do too much. However, the second beacon phase will be slightly stronger as it does scale up throughout the battleground. Beacons activate now in 10 seconds here.
I also like the Breeze on his ETC is more about space control than actual slowing, because at level 13 he goes Encore instead of Face Melt. So he just wants the extra little pushback from that amp that gets set there instead of having the slow from the Face Melt. Because on this map, I mean, space control is everything. On a lot of maps, for a very, very high tier play, space control is everything, or at least a good portion.
Yeah, it's quite good against Tyrael too. The power site has him after he goes for the engage and then drop down the knockback, and Tyrael can be sectioned away from his team and get the chance to actually focus them down. Dignitas here, hitting 14. They are being aggressive on this Merc camp in the top left. Fnatic just continues controlling everything in the map here. JPL gets pushed off. The Encore will hit once again. Signification, though, does come out. The engage on Breeze, and ETC gets eliminated.
And again, look, this is the power of Molten Core because, again, the percentage of the map is covered by Molten Core more so than anything, or any other map even, I should say. So he was able to put down a lot of damage with Xaylia to actually guarantee that kill with his front line as well. So that's a lot of damage on JPL. He has to be careful.
Big blizzard there. Kraken's popping Odin to help out with Snitch, and he focused down Snitch so Snitch would de-siege and walk away.
I barely even noticed that Zeratul had sneaked around and got beacons again. 28% comes in for them.
What a pesky booger, man. Constantly in the bottom and the top. You just can't get rid of him.
Yeah, he's barely ever in a fight. Look at him. I'll just wait here, casually, step on. Oh God, Wubby, you're annoying. I love it though.
It is annoying. And the beacons now at 30%. Sergeant Hammer is actually first with Uther here to grab the area of the bottom beacon. However, with Bree showing up with an encore, continues to slow it down. Nice double knockback. JPL goes for the engage. Here's the power slide. Swippy on the bottom left, getting low in health though. Mayday going for the engage.
I've never quite seen a Zeratul be a pacifist assassin as much as we've seen it in this game. Look how much percent they're on, 84, because of how well Wubby has rotated, hardly ever fought, and then just kind of gone for beacons. I wonder what his numbers are at actually now.
That's actually what I'm pulling up. Get ready to have your mind blown. 10K in terms of damage. Ooh. That is it. But he's controlled the map so well that he's may as well done 80K damage, right? He's been that impactful here.
Look, again,
on the battleground. Yep, back to top here. 98-100%. Apparently Zeratul is the answer on a two-lane battleground against a Sergeant Hammer comp that has to rotate constantly. Ooh. Big Void Prison coming in. Sulfur Smash does connect with Schwimpy. Schwimpy comes in, Ring of Frost does not connect these thrusters, but the sanctification has been used, and the big wave will be here for Fnatic. And it was important for Dignitas to get away from that fight.
Yes. Having
all the members up so we could have that incredible defense. Mountain is still down for a little bit.
Absolutely. Imagine that fight at the Ring of Frost hit 2 and they'd have killed 2 off during this fight. The Sulfura Smash was so important to zone out Jaina for the small time that they did. But they've opened up a big hole here in the defenses of Team Dignitas. Again, it's going to be difficult. Xaylia would love to Molten Core, but he can't down towards here. He's going to get denied, I think. Then that's a good pushback there from Breeze to try and make sure Xaylia doesn't get big damage out.
Fnatic has 9 seconds here to make something happen. JPL goes to the engage. The Divine Shield has been used. Breeze jumps up with the stage dive, does retreat away here. JPL looking for more, will not be able to do so. Fnatic walks away, but 1 keep now down on the bottom right. Fnatic having some slight pressure in the top left from those 2 minions, but they won't do much. Fnatic taking the lead here in terms of pressure on the map as Catapults will now push that bottom lane.
So game is by no means over just yet, but I would say that Fnatic is in such a firm spot, not based on the fact that a keep is down, but based on the fact that Wubby has just been playing a sick good game when it comes to beacon control. What Team Dignitas has to do right now is somehow, I feel, try and out-rotate their opponents and get keep damage themselves, but it is very, very hard to do because the 4-man is always on the opposite side of where Zeratul is. So they're kind of keeping this weird pseudo barrier of vision across the map. So difficult for the Dignitas to find a solution, I think.
And now Dignitas has to think about pickoff potential because they're going to have to rotate people down to deal with that catapult at certain times, which means that Zeratul could go for engage at any point with the aid of his teammates to get someone taken out, which means Beacons goes over to Fnatic. It becomes very difficult to deal with this. So I think your actual thought there is the right thought. Go for the push in the bottom lane and work on getting a keep here so you can even out the game.
Well, they're absolutely trying what we've just discussed. So that's a good move here for them. They knew that Zeratul was a little bit further away. He was up to the top kind of clearing up, but he's come back now. He's based. I think they realized that they can't stick around there for too long. They would love to. They need this keep to kind of even out, especially the bot lane.
They can eke it out here with the dagger, with the napalm. They can work that keep down. At some point, Fnatic can decide if they want to go for the engage or comfortable with giving up this keep here. Ring of Frost, Void Prison, Stage Dive, all available here. Big power slide, Ragnarok's on the left here. JPL taking big blizzard damage.
Beacons are up. Wubby's going to just dash in there against JPL. Doesn't quite get much done. As Dignitas just disperse down towards the bottom here. Now, how can Dignitas solve the puzzle of Fnatic and Wubby? Because right now, the previous 2 have been 100% to Fnatic. Wubby's going to start this cycle again. Dignitas needs to break the cycle, but how can they do it, Trick? It's difficult.
It's a hard maneuver. I think you just give up that beacon phase at the top, you just sit down in the bottom lane, get Hellbats, you work towards yourself to level 20, and then you slowly push your way towards that keep and work on that. Having half of the beacon phase is a win in itself here, especially the control that we've seen from there. So big holy ground coming out. Mercenary camp stolen here from Dignitas.
Perfect holy ground as well. The circle, if you don't know, is exactly the right size to be able to capture them 100% if your opponent, well, when they push off your opponents. So perfect positioning on that. And Xaylia here taking quite a bit of damage.
Meanwhile, the sneaky Zeratul
Look at him.
grabs a small amount of percentage once again for his team.
It's not like he was even far away from the fight and the conflict. He just kind of walks in and walks back out. I think they know where he is. They're walking up towards his direction, just trying to chase him off.
And Fnatic continue to stretch their opponents thin as they force Sylvanas ahead of the top lane to defend against the hard camp that was grabbed. This opens them up for engage. Wubby on the left does have to go move in. Bakery wants to grab a stun, but Wubby will be able to blink away for now. Right. Big move, though, from Fnatic as they go on the right. As you're mentioning here, big power slide into a knockback. Here's Divine Shield.
Yeah, gonna have to get away there with the Haunting Wave. So Fnatic looking to just try and wrestle Dignitas away, or even just draw 5. That's, oh god, this is so clever. Fnatic wants to draw 5 of them away. They don't even really want to win this fight on the right-hand side. They just want Wubby to take the beacon for a little bit, and then they could back off. They're putting pressure on here. A lot of them are silenced, though, at the moment. That's big AoE damage coming out as Malfurion and Jaina get wiped off the face of Brax's hold-down, and that is the win that Dignitas needs here to try and escalate this further.
Big willing arrow there, prevented Malfurion from using Ice Block, and Dignitas gets a kill there with a severest smash, and now they move down and grab the beacon phase. Zeratul and Tychus here for defense, but already a good 50% available for Fnatic. They can afford to wait here for their teammates to spawn.
Again, what did I, there's so many things that are like cycling through my mind here. Like, I mentioned that Molten Core is super powerful on this map because of the range and how much percent it covers on this map. And also I mentioned that Fnatic shouldn't have been wanting to look for the big engage there. I think they got a little bit too greedy on that right-hand side. Just rotate around there, let Zeratul catch the beacon for a few percent, then back out the same way you came. They got greedy and they got punished for it, but that being said, so did Tyrael down here.
Sylvanas had to go back and defend with the catapults, and Fnatic took that moment to go for a hard engage power slide onto JPL. Tyrael no longer meant for this world. A big casualty here for Dignitas as they don't have their main take. However, a big push in the bottom lane is when Fnatic has to defend, and they pop Odin and they start defending now.
This is actually going to get cleaned up very quickly. So because Tyrael died, unfortunately for Team Dignitas, they can't do anything with this. This is going to get no value whatsoever.
Big takedown. Gives you big rewards here. Fnatic just kites it forward. They keep not even in trouble now. Solid defense for them. Zeratul is in the top, also defending the mercenary push that Dignitas grabbed. So everything on the map has been defended. Dignitas handled the top lane, the catapults at the bottom were defended at the same time before the armor went away. We're back on even footing, but we're closer to level 20.
Technically, this has been a beautiful game trick.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Not massive in kills. What is it, 3? Okay, there's been 8 kills, but still it doesn't seem like they've been crazy impactful team-wise. It's been about rotations, controlling the battleground, holding your own here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a marvel here from both teams, not only looking at Dignitas' side to try and solve the puzzle, but also Fnatic presenting the puzzle that Dignitas has had to try and solve. So Zaylia as well with the team here, going to try and clean this up. One boon that Team Dignitas has is that they will have level 20 just a little bit before. I think they really need to hit the window. They have to try and hit that window to try and capitalize.
But how do you hit the window? They're engaged while strong, but Tyrael is lagging with Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, it's a good question because overall, Fnatic has, aside from that one fight that we just saw, they have been just rotating better. They have looked to draw their opponents out of position and then exploit the beacons heavily. So if Fnatic just kind of sticks to that same mantra of like, we have a great 4-man, Zeratul's elsewhere, just run away with the 4-man, I think that they will still be in good stead. But both of their keeps are very low, so if Dignitas can somehow sneak around some way, as they're looking to the bottom now.
Here's a window they're going for. Move in on the keep.
Yeah,
they kind of pressure themselves.
They know that they're going to get 20 very soon, so be in your opponent's face as you get 20 and try and hit that window fast.
All of Fnatic move down to stop that window, close it as quickly as they can. Tychus in the top left, not appearing here as well. Wubby skirting on the outskirts, trying to reveal himself actually in vision, as he wants his opponents to know that Wubby is there. That threat could be scary enough for Dignitas to walk away, but they are not biting here. Grenade hits once again, power slide, and the JPL. The cleanse does come out.
And it looks like Dignitas here is just going to back off. The one thing that's scary for Dignitas is that Void Prism and Ring of Frost can still cause them big damage, even if it is 20 versus 19. They're 20 now. Does Fnatic step out of spot? Doesn't look like it. They realize the beacons are too important, and Zeratul's gone to the top one already.
Polaris, that keep has survived. It's literally on like 2 HP right now.
Yeah, it's so low.
You could kiss it and it would die. Fnatic here on the far left setting up already. Now suddenly that bottom lane becomes a major threat, so the rotations from Fnatic will slow down. Wubby the only one that can peel away, as they're going to be forced to defend this. Manny in the top defending against the Night Push coming towards his team.
I love that we have heroic difficulty from Xaylia. That could be the big playmaker here, either on the defense or on the engage. So they're just going to continue these rotations. Breeze and the boys looking for... Well, I mean, you can see Zeratul is with them now. I think... No, they're not going.
They're applying pressure on the bottom. They know they have catapults coming their way. They want Dignitas to come to them. Also, another thing to note is that every time Dignitas has defended against a push that came their way, so they have set it down the bottom right for whenever Dignitas does move in. Wubby scouts him out, and Tychus, Jaina, and Malfurion are going for the core. It is the job here of Breeze and Wubby to slow down the push here. Here comes Wubby. He gets it. Bakery gets delayed as well.
Did he stop three?
Yes, he did. The core is in trouble. It's dropping down to 80%. Wubby, still being an annoying nuisance, continues to be a menace here. Ragnaros has popped his Molten Core on the back left, but Quackness has yet to be touched here. Does Fnatic take this 3-0 with their core rush? Here comes Sergeant Hammer. That's it. Dignitas goes down 3-0 as Fnatic goes... No, wait. They actually hold it 3% here. What? The 5-man wide? No, they actually defended it. That was... insanely close there. Xaylia holds it here, and they can go for a push in the top lane and take the game.
That was so perfect. It was such... it was such a perfect game coming out from Fnatic. Everything was perfect. 3%? I just need to stop commentating. That's just...
Please retire. Right now, Dignitas does the impossible with a heroic difficulty, holds down Odin with a massive push, kill off the core, and we still have a series on our hands here. 2-1, Dignitas earns a victory.
It was perfect.
It looked over.
It was the perfect
I was even calling
game.
it. 3%. The great engage from Wubby to slow down 3 Hearthstones, the Ragnaros Molten Core, and somehow, some way, Dignitas holds valiantly, and they stay at this best of 5, man. That's 17. That's 17 core rushes that have not worked out here. Now in the HGC. And there's only one thing here. Common denominator. Right there to the left. Kalaris, that defense though, seriously. Incredible.
We can look at it again because the defense was amazing. So this
one,
two comes in. Actually, Void Prisms. Wubby buys so much time after playing an amazing game on Zeratul. Can't emphasize that enough. He gets picked off there. They have to focus him down. But Snitch in here, trying to buy as much time as possible, just push them back. You can see him angling himself so that he can try and push back the Commandeer Odin whenever he gets that push knockback off. And then everyone manages to get here. Malfurion goes flying, and that is the defense. I'm done.
Incredible defense. Think about that for a moment or two. We're coming back with game number 4. We've got a series on our hands.
Everything that I do in my life is working towards getting on to the big stage of video gaming.
I don't want to get second place this year. Like, I'm going for first. I won't be happy unless we win.
My name is Andrew Rodriguez, and I go to University of Texas at Arlington.
Daniel Lee, and I go to University of Connecticut.
My name is David Young, and I go to school at University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
My name is Michael Udall.
Heroes of the Dorm is an amateur tournament focused on college teams, playing not for prize money, but for tuition.
This is my first year competing in Heroes of the Dorm. Gaming at first was just a hobby, but now it's kind of evolved into part of my life.
I grew up in Mesa, Arizona. Gaming was definitely frowned upon.
I would think, gee, what a waste of time. You guys ought to be studying algebra or anything worthwhile.
My parents used to hate when I played, but now they're like, this is so cool, you're going to Seattle for playing a video game.
Hello and welcome to the Heroes of the Dorm Heroic 4. Here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, 4 college teams have come to battle it out.
We started over a month ago, and now we have Tennessee, UT Arlington, UConn, and Arizona State.
We all felt really good after the win, but we came here to win the whole thing, so the work's not over yet.
You don't reach that level without the dedication and the focus and the endless hours honing your craft.
It's going to take a determination and discipline, just like succeeding in anything in life.
It's intense. That's the best way to put it. Until you play the game and try to excel